students. My name is Goel and today we will start our new chapter, Gravitation. Students, from our lower classes, we have listened a story of Sir Isaac Newton. And what was that story? That once upon a time, Mr. Isaac Newton was sleeping under an apple tree, and an apple from that tree falls on him. So when that apple fell on him, he thought why this physical phenomena happened. He thought why when we throw anything in the sky, it comes back to the earth. There were many questions in his mind, and when he studied, when he go deep into the topic, he found a word called as gravitation. Isaac Newton also observed that moon revolves around the earth, and similarly he also observed that earth revolves around the sun. And not only earth, there are number of planets that are revolving around the sun. He made an inference that everything in this universe is attracting each other. It may be any two people sitting in a drawing room, or any two objects in your bedroom, or it may be sun attracting the earth, or it may be earth attracting the Mars, or it may be earth attracting the moon. He also, Mr. Isaac Newton also gave an observation that the tides in the oceans is due to the gravitational force of moon on the earth. So he gave a universal law of gravitation. And what does that law says? It says anything in this universe, any object, any two objects in this universe having some mass, they attract each other, and they attract each other with a force, and that force is called as force of gravitation. For example, let us discuss it. Now if we have two objects in the universe, lying anywhere in the universe, and let it be one object be A and another object be B. The mass of this object may be considered as capital M, and the mass of object B is considered to be small m, and the distance between the center of the object is taken as D. So what does this universal law of gravitation says? It says these two objects attract each other with a force F, and this force F, also called as force of gravitation, is directly proportional to the product of the masses of the two objects, where one object is having mass capital M and other object is having the mass small m, and is inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. So what does this inverse law says? That if D is small, then the force of gravitation will be large. That is, if the two objects are closer to each other, then the force of attraction, the force of gravitation between them will be larger. And if the distance between the two objects becomes higher, becomes larger, then the force of gravitation or force of attraction between the two objects will decrease. And similarly, the greater is this product, the greater is the product of the masses, greater will be the force of attraction. Now, if we combine both these equations, what we get? We get F is proportional to m into m upon square. Okay, now if we remove this sign of proportionality, what we get? We get another equation which says f. If we remove the sign of proportionality, we will get a constant capital G, and the equations become this is what is called as the universal law of gravitation. Now what is this G? Now this G is called as gravitational constant. This G is called as gravitational constant. And what is this G will be? The G comes out to be F into d square upon m into m. So if we want to calculate the units of G, it comes out to be force is Newton, distance meter square divided by mass into mass, kg into kg is kg square. So the units comes out to be Newton meter square per kg square. And what is the value of gravitational constant? It is the value of G is 6.67 into 10 raised to power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. So this value is important. You have to remember this value. This value might be given in the question, but if it is not given, you have to memorize this value. So what are the key points of universal law of gravitation? The first point is two objects having some mass. Two objects having some mass attract each other. Two objects having some mass attract each other. This is the first point. Second point that you have to remember, the force between these objects remains the same. The F, the force exerted by A on B and the force exerted by B on A, it is same. It will remain the same. Third point, the force of attraction between the two bodies will lie on the line joining their centers. And fourth, the magnitude of the force is given by this formula. F is equal to G into capital M into small m upon d square. So this is about the universal law of gravitation. And why it is called as universal? It is called as universal because it applies on all the objects in this universe, from sun to earth to moon, or any two objects on this earth, in your living room or in kitchen or in your bedroom, anywhere. Thank you. That's all for this topic. Next topic we will cover in another lecture. Thank you. Have a nice day. Good night.